Hello and welcome. I am Katrina Pratt Roebuck, and I am the founder and CEO of Uplifme. Uplifme is a national resource hub that provides information on social service events happening across the country that address the social determinants of health. And we also highlight the great work of organizations here in Philadelphia. So today I have with me Nicole Lawrence Moy, who is the first African American female executive director for the Tenant Union Representative Network, also known as TURN. So welcome, Nicole, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. My pleasure.
So Nicole, could you start by telling folks about the work that TURN does and who you serve?
Absolutely. So Turn is a tenant advocacy organization. We advise tenants of their right if they're having a problem with their landlord. We also help them navigate the eviction process, and we serve all tenants in Philadelphia.
Okay, great. And so can you talk a little bit about how, if a tenant is having a problem with their landlord, how they would connect with TURN for services?
Absolutely. So, one of the ways to connect with Turn, most people may not know, but we are the organization that answers the Philly Tenant Hotline. So, we answer all of those calls for the city. And so, people would call the Philly Tenant Hotline. They would be connected to a hotline counselor to answer their question. If their question is if they have more than 2 to 3 questions, we would then refer them in house to a counselor that would work with them one on one with regards to their particular problem.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about the types of issues that folks present when they come to you for help?
Yeah, so usually we also work with Right to Counsel. So when tenants call in the Right to Counsel zip codes, we refer them to our partners, our PEP partners, which is the Philadelphia Eviction Prevention Program,
Mhm.
so that they can get legal assistance for their eviction. But we get from soup to nuts. If you have a broken window, we get
Mm,
the call. If your stove doesn't work, we get the call. And one of the things that people don't often think about is if a person's stove doesn't work and they're low income, what
mhm,
happens is they're eating out, which is then taking away from their income that they utilize to pay bills and
mm.
other minor things that they may have. So it's very important that we work with them to ensure that they get the repairs that they need expeditiously.
Absolutely. So there's a cascading effect of not having your housing needs met. And so that's really important that I think folks understand that if a person is living in a place that needs repairs, that is impacting other areas of their life, not just their housing. So I appreciate you explaining that a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about perhaps something you're proud of that Turn has accomplished over the past 12 months?
Well, I'm definitely proud of our hotline.
Mm,
It took a little bit to get it fine-tuned and going, and so we're finally full staffed.
mm,
One of the things that, a lot of times when you think about a hotline, you don't really think about the stress and the trauma, but stress transfers. And so a lot of times when tenants are calling us, they're calling, they're yelling, they're crying,
mm.
and sometimes it's a volatile situation. And so I am extremely proud of the staff that we have, especially those that are answering our hotline. And the other thing I'm proud of that people may not know is that we are a 50-year organization. And so in October, we will be celebrating our 50-year anniversary, October the 24th. So I'm very proud of that.
Okay, great. And just in terms of that same vein, can you talk a little bit about perhaps what you're looking to accomplish over the next 12 to 24 months?
Yeah, so one of the things that we often struggle with in our organization is identification because we have so many great
Mhm,
partnerships. A
mhm,
lot of people sort of don't know who we are because we partner with CLS and other city organizations. And so
mhm,
we're not a legal entity.
mhm,
And so one of the things that I am most proud about we are going to start doing is to get our brand voice out into the public. And so in July, we will be undertaking some work to ensure that people know who Turn is and
mhm.
can identify whom we are when we're out in the communities.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And thinking about that, I know that Turn used to do tenants' rights workshops. Do you still do workshops for the public?
Yes, we do tenants' rights workshops every day,
Oh,
12:30, 3:30, and 5:30. They are via Zoom. We also do them in person if a person wants to come down to our offices, which is the Land Title Building at 100 South Broad Street. They can come in and we will service them. But the other thing that we're going to be looking to do is to begin doing workshops again out in the CDCs. And so that is
hmm.
something else that we're looking forward to doing starting in July.
So doing work with partner community development corporations, I think is what
Yes,
CDC stands for, correct?
yes,
Right,
that's
that's great. So that's really going to expand your reach and your depth
absolutely.
in the
Yeah.
work. That's
Yeah, and it will
wonderful.
also put us in the community where the tenant is. So a lot of times tenants don't either know where we are or they may not have the resources to get down to the office. So being out in the communities is something we're excited to do.
That's really great. And it's really great to hear that you're doing these workshops every day, 3 times a day. I did not know that you guys were doing those workshops so frequently. So that really makes it accessible for lots of people to be able to join. So that's great. So can you talk a little bit about how folks, if they want to volunteer for Turn or contribute to your organization, how could folks do that?
Well, they can go on our website to look at our services that we provide. We also have a link if people want to donate. But we're also always looking for volunteers around special events that we have because some people
Okay.
don't know that we pay ongoing rental assistance for about 450 formerly homeless tenants. And
Mhm.
so around going back to school, around Thanksgiving and Christmas, we often have fundraisers that we're doing where people can either donate school supplies, they can donate turkeys, or they can come in and help because the demand is, again, it's 450 people. So oftentimes we need people to help us give out the items that we collect.
That's fantastic. And Turn, like so many other organizations, are doing work around all the social determinants of health, right? So you are focusing on housing security, but also helping folks with food security and with other types of giveaways to support their needs. So thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. So absolutely, we will put the information at the bottom of the notes on how folks can donate to Turn. And I just want to thank you for your work, and I want to thank you very much for spending time with us today to talk about Turn.
Thank you very much for having me. It was my pleasure.
Take care.
You too.